It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Today on the podcast, I'm not really that excited about our topic. I'm so sorry. How's that for a great opener? Maybe you should take the top of this. I've been getting a lot of media requests for this one. I've spoken on a range of radio stations and in newspapers for this one. But Kylie, I'm just not that excited. Nevertheless, it's one of those topics, isn't it, that we need to cover off.
You're just being a tease right now. You're really not into the Halloween spirit, are you?
I think it was last year. Was it last year or maybe the year before when we just moved into this house and we did Halloween because ours is the Halloween house in the neighbourhood?
Well, it was before we moved into it.
Well, we did it that first year and it really turned me off Halloween because you've just got all these random people who show up, bang on your door and say, I want some lollies. You got kids coming in and out of your yard and all you do is chuck sugar at people and then it's over a couple of hours later when you run out of lollies and you put a sign up saying don't knock on my door anymore, I've run out, that kind of thing.
The neighbourhood Grinch. I didn't think you'd become that, but seriously.
I'm not feeling the Halloween vibes and I'm listening to myself as I'm speaking and I'm thinking I do sound like
such a thing as a Halloween Grinch? I think there might be.
I sound like a bit of a grump.
You are.
We need to talk about it though because
it's not all about you. There are lots of families out there that absolutely love this. They look forward to it all year round.
You're making me feel so bad.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about a handful of things.
Yeah.
How parents can balance children's desires for independence but maintaining a sense of safety. This is really hard.
Keep them safe when they say, I want to go and knock on every door in the neighbourhood and I don't want you to come with me.
We'll explore some alternative ways to celebrate Halloween that feels good for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll also look at how Halloween can help us to foster a sense of community and be a positive social experience for our kids.
Which is the one thing that I really do like about Halloween. I'm just not that into it. And doing it a couple of years ago highlighted that for me. But
when our kids were younger, we'd never done Halloween.
No, we waited years.
But we had friends who opened up their backyard and invited all of our friends to come along and do a trunk or treat.
These were friends with a very big backyard.
I had never experienced anything like it and it was so much fun.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, trunk or treat basically means you drive your cars to a place and you decorate the boot of the car or the trunk of the car if you're from America. Decorate the boot of the car with Halloween stuff and then everyone just sort of walks from car boot to car boot and says trick or treat and you play the games or you give away the lollies and the sugar and all that sort of stuff.
The friends that we did it with, they were so creative.
It was amazing.
One friend had a van and she completely blacked out all the windows and created like a haunted house inside the van.
Yeah, we had several friends. Like, I mean, it sounds kind of lame the way that I said it. I had that little snarky tone in my voice when I said it, but they were really great events and we did them several years in a row, which kind of changed my tune on Halloween. I think, do you know what I think really is at the heart of it? I've just got a lot on at the moment.
And I was about to say the same.
You've got to be in the headspace.
We feel very time poor at the moment and the idea of doing another thing on top of our list right now feels a lot. So I'm with you in that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's so much positive we can talk about.
All right, let's dive into this. I want to answer the question that most media outlets have been asking me first, which is how are we supposed to let the kids kind of go crazy in the neighbourhood and have lots of fun while keeping them safe? So
I kind of feel like this is a really easy one and I think it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Oh, okay. We'll go for it. Mrs. Parenting Expert, Mrs.
Missing
Happy Families.
something here.
Now, what were we going to say?
Well, this is about community, right?
Yep.
So first things first, I think that if our kids are at an age where we would allow them to go to the shops, for instance, with a handful of friends, then it doesn't make sense that it would be an issue for them to walk around the street
precisely
with a handful of friends.
Which is what I've said in the media. This is all about age. So if the children are old enough to go to the park or go to the shops on their own, which I would say is sort of 10 plus.
Yeah.
If they've got a couple of friends that they can go with, go for it, kids. And so long as they've got good manners and so long as they not beating up other kids for their lollies on the street corner before they go to the next house. So long as they're behaving themselves and not being antisocial, this is a really fun opportunity for them to spread their wings. It's the younger kids that I'm probably a bit more nervous about.
So for younger kids, I've watched parents do it and I think it's great. Parents stand on the curb, they watch their kids and they let them walk to the door and knock on the door by themselves. It's just little steps that you're taking so that your kids feel like they're actually doing it on their own.
Have you been eavesdropping on my media interviews? Because that's pretty much what I said.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't listen to the media.
Let me take this a little bit. No, but you listen to me when I'm having a conversation in the office. Further discussion around this, I think regardless of the age of your child, you probably do want to have a quick boundary setting conversation. Which streets are okay, which streets are not okay, how far are you allowed to roam from home, how late can you stay out, especially if the kids are going to go out independently, rules about not entering somebody's house.
That's number one.
Yeah, like no matter, come on in, I've got a special treat for you. No, you never enter somebody's house under any circumstances.
But what I've also noticed, especially in our neighbourhood, is that people only do it from about 5 till 7. Once it starts to get dark, all of the kids have gone home.
Totally. It is a really, really short window, a couple of hours. It's intense in our neighbourhood, at least, for that couple of hours.
That's because we brought the Halloween house.
Do you think that we should do it tonight? I'm just starting to think. I'm starting to get in the mood for it. I'm really starting to feel the vibe. Second key discussion point that I thought was worth bringing up is a lot of families aren't that into Halloween, either for personal reasons. I still talk to a lot of people who, for religious reasons, don't want to celebrate Halloween. Some people just don't like the emphasis, especially in Australia. We get very much into the blood and gore and the ghouls and goblins and the skeletons and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because I talk to all of my American friends.
Yeah, and we have a lot of friends in the States.
And they just say it's not like that.
It's just dress-up night.
Yeah, and they have so much fun.
Mr. Incredible or as a Smurf or whatever. Like, it's just fun getting dressed up, and it doesn't have the bloodthirsty elements that we seem to have emphasised and accentuated in Australia.
No, and I think that they go back to the grassroots of what Halloween's all about. And we've taken it to the extreme, I think.
Yeah. So let's say you want to promote community, but you're not so keen on that. Obviously, we're doing this on Halloween, so it's a bit late, but being creative with your costumes and staying away from the blood and guts is completely appropriate and just fine. You mentioned the trunk or treat events that we used to do. For next year, folks, put this in your diary a month out and organise something early around a trunk or treat. It really is a delightful way to create the community and maybe have a Halloween celebration that's more aligned with where you sit, because you can bring people along on your page.
Well, another thing that we did recently was friends of ours. They were actually new friends. We met them pretty much for the first time going to their place for Halloween.
Right.
They just invited us. And we went over and we had dinner, and she'd done these crazy Halloween themed meals. We had brains and it looked amazing.
It wasn't really brains. It
was so much fun though. And she'd kind of set up stations for the kids throughout the house that they could have activities and have fun with that Halloween theme, but it was completely controlled within her own space, and the kids could go and have a ball.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. When you want to create a sense of community and want to do it in a way that really prioritises safety, the key word that you're focusing on is having a controlled environment.
Yeah.
That does it, and you can still create the community with your friends. There's just less focus on knocking on doors and taking lollies off strangers. I mean, we spend our lives raising our children and saying, whatever you do, don't take lollies from strangers. And then on Halloween, it's like, change their mind. Take as many lollies off the strangers as you possibly can. Fill the bucket.
Another idea that a handful of our friends have done in the past is they've actually picked trusted neighbours or friends and dropped off treats.
Yeah, that's right.
And asked if they would participate so their kids can go on their own independently, knock on some doors because they know them, and it just means that neighbours can be involved without having to go to any effort.
Okay, one last discussion point around Halloween and community and fostering that spirit of, connection and so on. We've kind of dipped in and out of this, but I want to get really explicit about it. Explicit, is that the right word here? I want to be really, really clear and emphasise a couple of things that can absolutely work. I think Halloween can be a great excuse to get to know your neighbours. So whether you're decorating your house, which does take effort, and we certainly have not put in the effort this year, handing out lollies, creating a festive atmosphere. Some neighbourhoods organise block parties. We live in a cul-de-sac, and there has been talk for Christmas that we might block off the street and get everyone together. I just think it's really fun for families to connect. We're increasingly isolated. We're increasingly focused on our screens and on our busyness. We've all just got so much to do. I think it's a chance to break down barriers, build relationships with people that you might not otherwise interact with. I know that I'm a bit grinchy this Halloween because we have so much on, but it really is a fun and festive occasion. And
You can't change your tune halfway through.
no, I already agreed with you at the start. It's okay. I'm just wondering whether or not if we pop down to the supermarket, I'll be able to pick up enough treats to keep people happy tonight. I still feel like they need to work for it. I got in trouble 2 years ago when we did this because I was making kids try to throw stuff into a bucket, and if they couldn't get it in the bucket, they didn't get the treat. And I got in trouble for that. But I think that was the right deal. Rather than just handing out the candy, I think that they've got it, the candy. I've just become American. Handing out the lollies, the chocolate, whatever. I think they need to work for it.
You're harsh.
You don't agree with me?
I don't think it's about working for it. I think it's about enjoying being in the space together.
Yeah. A couple of other positives that I want to highlight here. This is a great opportunity for us to teach our children social skills, manners, interacting with other people when you can sort of be anonymized because people can't see your face. It can also be a confidence booster for shy and anxious kids. For families, I think that it's an opportunity to create traditions and memories. I mean, I'm talking myself further and further into this the more we go into it. I just think that the idea here is that as parents, if we can help our kids to learn how to be safe, learn how to engage with other people, learn how to navigate the neighborhood, learn how to experience different scenarios, I just think this is really healthy for them.
Well, I am telling you that if you could get yourself together in the next few hours, you would make Best Dad of the Year award with Emily.
Oh, gosh. Oh, the pressure's right on now.
Just saying.
Okay, let's do it. Halloween at our place. We're going to be the Halloween house again this year. I can't believe you've talked me into it. I might have to tell the team that I need to take half the day off work. What do you think? Got to be something in it for me. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Happy Halloween. We hope that you have a wonderful Halloween experience. Hopefully there's been a couple of ideas here that are helpful. And we're back tomorrow with I'll Do Better Tomorrow on the Happy Families podcast.